Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back with another weekly wears video where I go over every single fragrance that I wore all 7 days last week. My name is Gerard, and on this channel we are talking about fragrances. So if that is content that you want to see more of, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on bell notifications so you are updated whenever I upload something new. This week was amazing, some phenomenal fragrances, and really 7 fragrances that I would classify as some of my favorite mass-pleasing DNAs are included on this list. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into Sunday. So this one I talk about on the channel quite a bit. And this one I sort of just always say it's my favorite niche blue because that's what it is. My favorite niche blue fragrance scent we are talking about is Parfums de Marly Sedley. And this one, guys, is really easy to like. Just there really is nothing that's wrong with this fragrance. I think it's perfect in every way. Incredible, incredible performer, along with smelling amazing. This one has this vibrant, citrus, sparkling vibe right off the bat. The aromatics here put you in a good mood. They're just really alive, authentic smelling with just a subtle amount of sweetness. I like to say this one smells a bit like opening a can of Sprite. It has this effervescence to it that's just stunning. It's beautiful. One of my most recommended fragrances, when people ask me, do you like PDM? I own a few that I really enjoy, but I think this one is probably my most recommended. It's the safest from the house alongside something like Greenly, which I also enjoy. I don't own a bottle of that. But this one is really safe and easy to like, and you will get compliments, most likely if that is something that matters to you. I don't like to say that you're absolutely going to get compliments. People like to know if certain fragrances are compliment getters, partly because they want people to notice how they smell. Not everyone, but many do. So we're kidding ourselves if we don't think that we want other people to notice our fragrance and like how we smell. It's a normal sort of human thing, I think, is to have your fragrance appeal to a lot of people. Unless you're trying to keep people away, then you might wear more stinky ouds or something like that. But this one, not the case. Really easy to like. People are going to enjoy this around you. And yeah, just super addictive. One of those fragrances that just is effortless, lasts a long time, as I said, that I love spraying. Sedley from Parfums de Marly. This next one I would classify as sort of the mall mass-pleasing fragrance. You're going to walk into a Macy's and probably smell this DNA, and there's no surprise why. Scent we're talking about is Kinetic from Tumi. Now, chances are you're not going to be smelling Kinetic, but you will be smelling Dior Sauvage, which is still a really popular fragrance, understandably so, because that one is just really likable, clean smelling, fresh sweetness, checks all the boxes, right? This one smells like Dior Sauvage in a lot of respects, but I like this one more. It's sweet, it's peppery, it's masculine, it has this kind of modern barbershop feel to it, but what this also has is some spice. It adds a new dimension to the Dior Sauvage DNA, but along with that, I think you're getting incredible performance. Performance that lasts all day, not only in longevity, but also projection. You're going to get waves of this as the day goes on. Now, pricier than what you can probably get Dior Sauvage for these days. I haven't price compared the two. This one, though, for me is worth a little more money than the Dior Sauvage, only because the performance, I think this performs better than current day formulations of Dior Sauvage, and it just smells better to me. It truly does. There's certain elements here that I don't pick up from Dior Sauvage. Makes this one a little more interesting and just incredible. And I love the bottle. I love that sort of deep red bottle. And I'm a big fan of Tumi fragrances. If you guys haven't tried Tumi yet, Kinetic is a great place to start. Tumi, Kinetic. This next one was one of my best finds at a rack store ever. Maybe one of the most recommended, if not the most recommended scent on this channel. And it will scratch that itch for a Bleu de Chanel mass-pleasing fragrance. Scent we are talking about is Missoni Parfum Pour Homme. Now this one again, I enjoy more than the scent that it gets compared to in the much more expensive Bleu de Chanel. This is much cheaper. You can find this a lot cheaper, but it doesn't sacrifice quality. It doesn't sacrifice presentation. It has a magnetic cap, a really good magnetic cap. I love the presentation. I love the details in the cap if that's something that matters to you. Ginger, citrus, woods, lavender. The lavender here is super calming, really velvety smooth. It's not sharp in any way, much like the lavender in the Sedley. It very similar. Both calming lavenders, just relaxing, just cool, chill, clean, fresh, vibrant, metallic, shave foam subtleties, reminding you of just putting the shaving foam in your hand and shaving and, getting trimmed up for the day. It's just really masculine, really easy to wear, and people like this one. One of my most complimented. I wear this one quite often, so it tends to be one that people like on me, people in my life, people around me. And I will say I have been approached by strangers wearing this one, and they always ask me if I'm wearing Dior Sauvage. So I don't know. I don't personally get Dior Sauvage vibes from this one. I can kind of understand why, because it falls within that range of spicy, blue, sweet fragrance, but it does its own thing. It even does its own thing separate from Bleu de Chanel, which is what it gets compared to most. And the reason I like this one more than the Bleu de Chanel is because it lacks that incense note, which I just isn't my favorite part of Bleu de Chanel. Incredible fragrance, Missoni Parfum Pour Homme. Now, with a lot of sort of fresh fragrances on this list that are ideal for warmer months, this next one is ideal for cooler months. Same way of talking about is Stronger With You from Emporio Armani. And guys, look, this one has a lot of flankers, but this is one that I always go back to. And this is my favorite in the line. Best that I've tried from this particular line. I know it has really, just has that beautiful balance of sweet and fresh. I don't think any other fragrance does it better than this. There's been a lot of copycats. This scent here is somewhat of a trailblazer because I think it sort of introduced the sort of beginnings of that bubblegum sweetness, because this is very sweet up top, but it does it in a natural way. And it also balances nicely, again, as I said, with those fresher notes, the nutty notes. It has chestnut in here, and it's just an amazing fragrance. Ideal for the cooler months, but enough freshness that you can wear this to work while also wearing it on date night. So I think it has some versatility there as well. Great performer on me, projects really nicely and really easy to like, mass pleasing. There's others that you might say, well, you left off this list because I can tell you now it's not on there. It's like something like a Spice Bomb Extreme. Not as mass appealing as something like this. Not as likable as something like this. That I would say that Spice Bomb Extreme is a little bit more polarizing than people give it credit for. This one, not so much. This one, most people are going to probably like on you. You just need to smell it to know why. Incredible stuff. Stronger With You from Emporio Armani. I think of all the fragrances on this list, this next one is the most versatile. I could wear this anytime, anywhere, in any situation, and love it as much as the first time I wore it to the last time I wore it. Just incredible fragrance. And we are talking about is Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. And this one just utilizes this beautiful, again, balance of fresh and sweet. But the tonka here is stunning, a little bit powdery. And I just love the scent. In the air, it just envelops, it entices. It has this sweet pepperiness with that powdery tonka bean, a vanillic undertone, slightly aquatic. Wouldn't call this a sports scent, and I mention that all the time. I think sport is kind of misleading because I think the quality here is next level. I think it's elevated Chanel quality while being mass appealing and easy to like. Because I will say there are certain Chanels that get a lot of attention for being these artistic, dare I say, uppity type fragrances that people love because it has a Chanel name and they're an elevated fragrance, but they're just not as accessible for me. They're not as likable or mass appealing. This one, mass appealing, super likable with that Chanel touch. This one personally for me is worth every single penny. Not one that goes on sale that often, but again, it's accessible. It's not in that astronomical price range like some other Chanel's. It's within reach. And there are some others that I guess copy this one to some degree, and it's going to be compared to things like Versace Pour Homme, but in its own, Chanel Pour Homme Sport. The Eau Extreme, though, is my favorite. This one is the one that I go to because I feel like it has a little bit more depth and it's a little bit more interesting because of that amped up tonka bean, which makes it more versatile. You can wear this out at night. I'd reach for this as a night out, date night scent in the summertime, in the warmer weather with my wife than I would just the regular Chanel Allure Homme Sport. So, yeah, the Eau Extreme is the way to go, in my opinion. Love this one. Chanel Allure Homme Sport, Eau Extreme. This next one is going to satisfy the aquatic mass appealing fragrance. And this is the one that I own in this line, but you can really own any one from this line and it will work. Scent we're talking about is Acqua di Gio Profumo. And as I said, you can have Profondo, you can have the regular Eau de Toilette, you can have the Eau de Parfum, you can have the Parfum. As long as it has that mineralic, aquatic vibe with all the elements that you would expect from an Acqua di Gio, it's going to work. Salty, ocean, aquatic, mineralic. What I love about this one is the addition of that heavy patchouli note. It adds a depth, a darkness to this that is kind of reminds me of wearing like a black suit, right? All blacked out, black shoes, black slacks. Or in the summertime, rocking like an open white camp collar shirt, tank top underneath. That's kind of the vibe I get, right? Elevated, dressed up, masculine. The other thing that this does really well is it's going to satisfy that nostalgia that you have for fragrance. And a lot of us have that. A lot of us might have, if not us, ourselves, maybe have uncle or a dad, someone who wore the original back in the day. I personally wore this back in the day. I had not Profumo, but I had the original Acqua di Gio that I wore to school. I still love that fragrance, and this one reminds me of it. And that could be good or bad in some situations, right? Maybe someone had a bad experience with someone, and this is the scent they wore. It just reminds you of them. Yeah, you might not like this one, but maybe you have an affinity for it and then just good memories, and that is what this is for me. Acqua di Gio Profumo. So finally, on Saturday, I reached for this one, and this one might be a controversial pick for some, but not for me. This is an easy pick. Scent we are talking about is Creed Aventus. Elevated masculine fragrance, right? Pricey, expensive, just all of the things that, and I'm going to give a spray in the air, even though this one is kind of dwindling down. I'm trying to conserve it. And this batch is, I couldn't even tell you guys, I think this is a 2020 batch. But at the time, everyone was hating on this batch, saying it's crap, doesn't last. Well, I can tell you, this has gotten so much better. It lasts a long time on me, and now selling for a lot of money. You could probably look up the same batch on eBay and spend an arm and a leg, and I got it at the time for maybe just over $200, which is still, guys, a lot of money. But if you're going to buy a bottle of Creed Aventus, you're anticipating spending the money. Don't set yourself up for disappointment. Don't go into it ready to criticize every little aspect of the scent. Oh, it's not smoky enough. It's not fruity enough. It doesn't last long. The performance isn't what I expect. You're going to just come up disappointed every single time. I'm not disappointed with this. And as I said before, with Chanel, it's super expensive, but you're paying for the Chanel brand. You're paying for the high quality ingredients, but maybe the accessibility isn't there. And when I say that word accessibility, I mean, it's just not going to be as loved by as many people. You might spray it and be like, a little disappointed. It's not as mass appealing, or it's not as appealing as I thought it might be, as likable. But there are certain things you can appreciate about it. Yeah, this doesn't have that problem. Familiar scent DNA at this point, but a lot of people are going to like this. It smells incredible. I've never had this issue where only guys like this on me. I've had a lot of women compliment me on this, ask me what I'm wearing, ask me, you know, for their husbands, for their boyfriends. I'd like to buy them that. Whatever you're wearing, I want to buy for them. Creed Aventus. I mean, it's just one of those ones for me that gets a lot of positive attention, which is why I included it on this list. Love this one, guys. Creed Aventus, the one and only. That's it, guys. All 7 fragrances that I wore last week. Some of my favorite mass appealing, easy to like scent DNAs in my collection. And as always, I would love to know what you guys wore last week. So drop that in the comment section down below. I am doing a giveaway, so I'm going to attach that video right here so you guys can go over and see how to enter that giveaway. But until then, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video.